My name is Jeremy Vesey, and on this channel we talk about everything from photography, graphic design, and creative business. If any of those topics sound interesting to you, I would love if you became a subscriber. Okay, so today I wanted to show you how I edit my wildlife photography, specifically this photo. This is actually one of my favorite photos that I've taken to date. And I just wanted to show you my process going from raw image to finished edit. Also, I just released my free Lightroom preset. You can go to jeremyvesey.com/Lightroom today to download that for free. I plan on using this Lightroom preset today, so this video should give you a better idea of how to use it as well. So let's hop onto a screencast and get started. Now that I have the image in Lightroom, the first thing that I like to do is to crop the image. So I'll go up to the crop tool, select it, and I'll straighten this image out. I'm then going to select the 16:10 for this specific crop. I want to put the fox in the center of the image since he's staring directly at the camera. I feel like putting the top of the fox's head in line with the upper third of the grid allows for good spacing. Okay, I think that looks good. So I'm going to head over here and just press done. I'll be using my free Lightroom preset to start this edit off today. So I'm just going to press that and make some adjustments from there. So after adding the preset, the image is still a little bit dark, so I'm just going to bump the exposure just a little bit. The first thing that I notice is this little piece of grass on the fox's head. I can easily get rid of that with the spot removal tool. You can find that here, or simply press Q as a shortcut. Then we want to make sure that the brush is the right size. Then I'm just going to click on this piece of grass, and Lightroom will attempt to find another area that can act as a replacement. So then I'm just going to press done. And usually in the event that Lightroom doesn't do a good job of finding an area to replace this, you can manually move the selection around until you find something that works. Sometimes I like to slightly darken the fur of an animal. I find that it gives a more striking aesthetic. You'll see what I mean. This is obviously a personal preference and not something that I do with every photo, but I'll show you how I do it. And in order to do this, I'm going to go to the adjustment brush and select the size. Once I found the size, I'm just going to use the brush to paint in the areas that I'd like to alter. I'm just going to adjust the exposure slightly, down to -10 or -0.11, somewhere around there. Then I'm going to boost the contrast up to around maybe 15. And then let's take the highlights down to -20, -25. And then I'm going to bring the whites down about the same amount, about -25 as well. Then you can toggle this little switch on and off to see your before and after. And then, since I'm finished with that, I'm just going to press done. Next, I like to brighten the eyes of my wildlife subject. So select the adjustment brush again and paint in the eyes. I also like to avoid brightening the pupil. I find that this gives more life to the overall image and is much more visually interesting after I apply this effect. So I'm just going to bring the exposure up to, say, plus 0.41. Yeah, that looks good. And I may also add a little bit of clarity. Doesn't really matter how much, just a little bit. Obviously, it's best to do all of this sparingly. You can end up making it look extremely unrealistic, so make subtle changes for the best effect. Then I'm just going to click done. Now I'm just going to go down to the HSL and select hue. Then I'm going to drag the orange slider down a little bit. I think that minus 20, let's just put it at minus 22. That looks good. And I just want to add a little bit more reds into the fox's fur. Make it a little bit less orange and a little bit more red. Okay, lastly, I think I'm going to add some vignetting. This image has a nice dark green background, so I think I'm going to try to make the image even more striking by darkening the background a little bit more to bring a little bit more focus onto the fox. So on the effects panel, make sure that it's selected as highlight priority. And then I'm going to take amount and I'm going to bring it down to -10. And then I'm also going to make the midpoint around 20, just kind of bring that vignetting in even more. All right, I think that looks good. And I'm also just going to remove the grain. That's just a remnant of the Lightroom preset that I applied in the beginning, and I don't think we need to bother with that for this image. Okay, and there you have it. This is the before and after of our edit. I really do love this image. This is probably my favorite wildlife photo that I've taken so far. So I hope you can take something useful away from this video. I know it was pretty simple, and just apply it to your next edit. If you have photos of, a dog or a wolf or a bear or a fox or any sort of animal that has a similar aesthetic to a fox, then maybe you can apply some of these techniques to your own photos. And honestly, I think the last thing that we need to do with this image is just boost the saturation up. So I'm going to take it from -20 up to -5. And that's looking great. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate that you've watched so far, and I would love if you were to hit that like button. Also, on this channel, not only do we talk about photography, design, and video creation, I plan on getting a lot more into creative business. I've been making a living online since 2013, selling products on Creative Market, taking on clients, and doing a variety of other things. If any of that sounds interesting to you, I would love if you became a subscriber, because we're going to be talking a lot more about that in the future. If you're looking for other ways to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram @JeremyVesey. And if you have any interest in building a business and finding visuals for your brand, whether you're selling merchandise, promotional material, or just doing content creation, I've been selling typefaces, templates, illustrations, and more over at creativemarket.com/hustlesupplyco. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, I would love if you went and checked out my shop today. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.